I'm Rakanka. I'm Shrenika.
I'm Parthavi.
And I'm Siddharth, and welcome to our spoiler filled review of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, the series, not the book, by Holly Jackson. This is completely spoiler filled, so if you have not read all three books in the series, click away like immediately. You are not welcome here unless you just don't care about that for some sick reason. That's why Prisha will watch it, I guess. She does not care for spoilers at all. Prisha's kind of weird like that. But yeah, so before we get started, what are your like overall thoughts on the series?
Beautiful. Yep,
Yeah.
just sum it up.
Parthavi?
My thoughts on the series.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with Meganka.
Let's start with me. It is a really addictive series. Like once you start reading it, it's hard to stop reading
Yeah.
it. Like you just cannot put it down. And like the way the story develops is awesome.
Shanika?
I mean, I don't really have much to say. It's just beautiful. It's just so well written. Like it pulls you. Just like make sure that you feel like you're in there, experiencing it, and it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Parthavi?
I think the series is like really good, especially the first and the last book. In the first book, I did not expect the second killer thing
Yeah.
like, at all.
Yeah.
And in the third book, I didn't expect Pip would actually murder someone.
Yeah, he lives up to his name.
Like sometimes it caught me off guard. So like I think that's really nice.
And wait, okay. Where does it rank in your overall like favorite series list? Mriganka and Shanika have already said it in the spoiler free review. Where does it rank for you, Parthavi?
Like the book order or like
No, as a book series, where does it rank in like your top five, top 10, whatever?
top three probably.
I mean, like which rank? One, two, three, whichever.
Third.
Third. What's number? I'm guessing number one is Famous Five. What's number two?
See, that was my childhood, so
I've asked you like five times, and you've always said it's famous five. So
yeah, that's my childhood. Okay, nothing tops that.
okay, I'm not saying anything. What's second?
I don't know.
You don't. Okay, so it's second for you. I'm guessing.
See, I have a feeling I'll read a better book than A Girl's Guide to Murder, so I'll just keep the second spot empty.
I don't think that's how it works, but okay. Um,
For me, it does.
okay, I guess. For me, it ranks seventh. Uh, seventh.
What's your first one?
Wheel of Time.
Oh, um,
Then number two is Stormlight. Three is this one. I don't think this should be a ranking video. So I guess should we just get into like the book by book review or?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So how this will work is basically first we give our overall thoughts on the book, like our favorite part of the book. Favorite part of the book doesn't have to be like a scene. It can be one part of a book, like the writing, the prose, whatever, and the least favorite. That's it. Then after that, we'll rank it based on atmosphere or tone. Then after that, we will do plot and characters. That work?
why is it so complicated?
It's three things, part of it. I think we're just gonna talk about it.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Uh, so okay, we'll start with one of you. Who wants to start?
Reganka, go on.
Wait, no, I need to think of what's my favorite part.
Why is Arav here though? He didn't read it, did he?
And you think he'll ever do it?
No.
Yeah.
Why is he here?
Because I don't know. I forced him to be for some reason.
Can I tell my favorite part?
All right.
Yeah, sure.
You know the part where after Pip finishes finding the fake Andy Bell and then she goes to Andy Bell's house, confronts Bell's sister, like, aren't you the one who like killed Andy Bell? I think that's my favorite part.
Okay. While Mriganka and are doing their thing, I'll just start with mine. My favorite part was probably just like the entire middle part. Just everything started escalating, more and more bits of information got
Yeah.
into the thing, and usually the rising action is generally my favorite part of a book, like the exact middle. I usually love that part specifically. So that's
Like all the things start adding up.
yeah. All right. What's your least favorite part of the book?
When
Least
Barney dies.
the dog dies.
When Barney dies.
Well, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's not my least favorite part. It's just the part that made me sad. But
Yeah.
uh, For me, my least favorite part is I don't actually know. I like this book a lot. I think
It is.
it's my second favorite in the series right now. Yeah. Uh,
What's your first favorite then?
third one.
Oh,
Yeah, I took the normie pick.
Um,
But
my favorite part is when Pip and Ravi really become a team, and then they start going around and trying to sneak into houses and trying to
oh,
get clues about the Andy Bell case. I think that was really interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you?
For me, I feel like when Pip starts creating her persons of interest list and starts like adding people.
Yeah, this series is I really like the little parts in between with all the like where she collects all the information, she writes it down. That when on my first read that was very intriguing. The third book actually doesn't have that much of it because she's not doing it for the podcast or anything. She just
Yeah.
yeah, she's just doing it for her own survival. Yeah. So okay, let's start with plot. Plot. Yeah, we'll start with plot. Okay, Mriganka, you can start.
Yeah, I think the plot overall for the first book would be a 9 out of 10 or a 90 out of 100, as you would say.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, the way the story develops, the way we keep getting small clues about what could have actually happened, it progresses in a really good way.
But it's spoiler, so you can also get into some other stuff of it, like parts of the
Um,
plot that you really enjoyed.
Parts of the plot, I mean, it's hard to remember something specific. I don't know, but as they really get into, like, especially towards the ending of the book, right? When they find out who is concerned, especially Elliot, and then later they find out how Becca is concerned, Max Hastings comes into the whole picture. That's when the pieces really start to get together.
Yeah,
That's the part I like.
yeah, and Max Hastings does play a really big part in the later two books. He is the absolute worst. I don't
He's a
think.
piece of shit.
Yeah, yeah.
am I allowed to say that?
I mean, the most recurring show on this podcast is called Weekly Updates. You don't give a shit about, so I'd assume, yeah, yeah.
Honestly, don't watch the TV series before reading the books. Yeah, Max is one reason why you should not watch the
Don't.
TV series. People are simping over it. Yeah,
And
people are
it
simping
makes
over
me
him.
Oh yes, yes. I've seen edits all over Pinterest and
Exactly.
YouTube.
Exactly.
Like,
And plus, it's not even that. Yeah, that's one main reason why you should not watch the TV series because and plus, the people are fantasizing over Max. And then plus they left out such beautiful, amazing pieces of like the most iconic quotes. They just ditch them. Like the floral men wear real men wear floral while trespassing. They left that. Yeah, that's like a very iconic quote. They left I am ravishing. Yeah, they left that one too. Exactly. Yeah, it's not good. No. And in the first book, there's this part where the person who killed Barney sort of tells her to go and destroy her laptop, right?
yeah.
They excluded that part from the series.
What?
I haven't watched it, but yeah, I've seen it. And then in comments, Barney he's a golden retriever, right? And the show he's not a golden retriever.
I
No,
mean,
no, it's like a
I,
slow food dog.
I mean,
yeah.
that seems like a little bit less of like a major detail because, like, I mean, dog actors are kind of rare anyway.
I mean,
Like,
still, it's
I mean,
But like the golden retriever, it has to be big and cute.
exactly.
all dogs are big and cute.
I
So
mean, the
overall, the series is a no, unless they really do something cool in season two.
Yeah, that's
Plus, like the characters, I mean, Pip, like the Pip actress who plays Pip, she's the one.
if you've already read this series, would you recommend watching the show?
I mean, you'll be disappointed. Yeah, you will be disappointed.
Fair. All right. Parthavi, what would you give the plot?
I would also give it a 9 because like it was really good. Like especially like the end, like Megaka said, when Pip discovers that the Andy Bell that's like in the house is not actually Andy Bell.
That I was just wondering. Like, I was nodding. I'm like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
No, I could
What
see
the
you
hell is she
confused.
talking about?
So
But
I think that was really unexpected. Elliot mistaking someone else as Annie Bell. That was unexpected.
yeah, I like throughout the whole book they're kind of like building up the relationship between Pip and Elliot, and
Yeah,
slowly, and like eventually at the end it hits just that much harder when. Yeah. So okay, should I start with the plot or now?
yeah,
Or
you
yeah,
can.
okay, okay. Uh, for me, plot also kind of includes pacing, and I think this is, I've already said this, but I think this is the best paced book in the entire series. There's no part that feels rushed, no part that feels a bit too slow. I mean, none of these books have parts that I would consider too slow, but there are definitely parts in the second and third book where I think it goes a bit too fast, specifically the ending of the third book. But this one, every scene I think was put in exactly the kind of way it should have been written. Honestly, there's not much I would change about it. Plus, you can see like slowly the relationships between characters developing, kind of cracking down, and all that.
Yeah,
Any specific scenes you want to talk about? Like any scene really works. Yeah, I feel like with a series like this, it's a bit harder to remember like individual scenes because everything goes by in a blur, and it's like
yeah,
development after development. Like
Exactly.
with something like Stormlight, it's like there's specific scenes that stick out to you because there's like big stretches of stuff that where nothing happens in between, and then every couple of hours he just hits you with something big. But like in this, it's just like bam, bam, bam. So
Yeah, exactly. It's so fast. It's like all,
yeah, it's a bit harder to remember all of that stuff.
and then the plot twist.
Yeah. My God. Yeah. Okay. So should we move on to characters?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
All right. So what's your opinions on the character work in this book?
The character work, I feel, it's good for the characters who are concerned. Like Pip is well done, so is Ravi, but the others who are not really playing that much
Yeah.
of a role.
I mean, wasn't Pep's best friend, what's her name? Kara?
Kara. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kara, Kara, same thing.
I don't know how to pronounce it either. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think she was really nice, like, the way they wrote her character.
yeah, she was also there. I mean, like it's the first book, so like we're just introduced to the characters, and then later, even Naomi, it was pretty well done.
Yeah.
Naomi, she plays a huge, yeah, she plays a huge role. Yeah, she does.
Generally, with this series, like Mriganka said, I think that the characters that it focuses on, it does really well. But the side characters, like you don't really care much about them. They don't
Yeah,
really.
they're quite forgettable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's nothing really captivating about them. They're just people. But when the series really focuses on a character, I think it's done masterfully. Who are your favorite characters?
Ravi.
yeah. I mean, Pip is nice, but
She's nice, but like,
Pip too, obviously, but
I think
nice because of his personality. I feel like at the end, Pip kind of got a bit, under pressure. She was you
yeah.
know, she kind of her
unravel.
character. No, it's understandable. It's understandable, but yeah, but then Ravi is still Ravi. Yeah,
I think generally over the course of the series, Pip is the most developed. Like
the most of them. Yeah.
she's the most like interesting character. Like Ravi is the most likable.
Yeah.
Pip is the most developed. So in terms of like the character I would like to spend time with, it would be Ravi definitely. But in terms of like character work, I would say my favorite character is Pip
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
because like I said, like the characters that it focuses on, it does really well, and the character who has the most focus is obviously Pip. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention in plot, like in the first book, her first suspect is Jason, and then imagine guess what happens in the third book. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Very funny. That's why you should trust your first intuition.
yeah. Which characters really like stood out to you other than like your favorite character?
I think Naomi. I was going to say Naomi because I mean she was also going through like trauma and stuff due to that whole thing that happened.
The hit and run.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean that also you start like sympathizing her with how initially she seemed like she was a little bit of a suspect, and how later that completely changes, and you really like see her who she really is.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Yeah, I think another thing. Parthavi actually spoiled the ending of the book for me.
I
Oh,
did not.
Oh no, I remember very clearly. No, like
I did
that.
not.
This was before I started reading the series. I don't think you'll remember this, but like remember when we were doing like the drawings for like the pin-up board?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So you wanted to put some villains on the board, and
Um,
the name you said was Elliot.
I did not say
You
that.
did that, yeah. You know, and then you looked at me. I was like, and you were like, "Oh, sorry, spoilers." And then I'm like, I'll forget it." I did not forget it. I read the book. I saw the name come up, like Elliot, and I'm like, "Oh, it's him, I guess." So,
So that it's your fault for not forgetting it. Don't blame me.
I mean, all right. Out
But
of
I remember that happening, so it doesn't count.
yes, every thing that happens revolves around you.
Yeah, it does.
Indeed. Out of what was your favorite character? Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting.
I heard this Elliot line because I unmuted for 1 second. And um, damn, I'm spoiled now.
Oh
Adam,
no,
you're
you'll
not
never
gonna
read
read the book
it.
anyway. You took 8 months to read one book.
9 actually, but
And that was
I
like,
promise I'll read it at some point. Guys, believe in
all
Trust
me.
me.
right, buddy, all right, I believe
You'll
you.
graduate early.
For real.
Then, all right, wait. Um, so that's it for characters, I guess. Yeah, not much to talk about with that because, well, it doesn't really focus on many
Oh
characters.
wait, I just remembered the part where Pip and Ravi go to the guy who sells the drugs. I forgot his
Yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was also my favorite part.
Yeah, that was cool. That was nice. Turns out he's just lonely. I have needs love. Yeah.
All right, should we move on to tone and atmosphere, or do you have guys have anything to add before we move on, like in characters?
We could move on.
We
Yeah, we
could
can
move
go.
on. All right. Oh wait, do not go to the next slide. That will be edited out. And all right. Plot and atmosphere. Also setting. We kind of just like lumping everything into one little thing. So Nikanka, should we start with you or anyone else want to start?
We can start with part.
No, we can start with Meganka. She can do the
I mean, part
honors.
of you threw Miganka under the bus so much. Like, okay, Miganka can go first. I think it's natural that you do it now.
What was the question?
Plot, atmosphere, and setting.
We did plot, didn't we?
Hmm?
We did plot already, right?
Tone, atmosphere, and setting. Sorry.
Okay, okay.
The atmosphere. It was like mixed. Like in the starting, it was really happy. Like they introduced her brother, her parents. I need to know how to explain this. That's why I told let's start with Meganka.
But
God, you guys never listen, do you?
we do, it just usually turns out horrible for us.
It's part
And then Riganka, you want to start?
for editing this part out.
I mean, I
No.
feel like the atmosphere it was quite heavy. Like I don't know exactly how to put it. But like it was, near the middle, the climax
Yeah.
part. It was quite eerie and like heavy. Actually, the third one is heavier.
No one is.
But it just gives you anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything
yeah.
to say about the setting?
I think it's well put.
Yeah,
It's
the
well put.
setting.
Yeah. Um, all right. I'll go before Parthavi because I decided. So I think the tone kind of reflects just the overall thing of the series. Like at first, it starts pretty like not lighthearted, like relatively lighthearted compared to the rest of the series. And not lighthearted again, but as it goes on, it just slowly gets more and more heavy, and then it just eventually it gets pretty dark towards the end, and then at the end it's a little bit of a perk up. Not really, no. Okay, whatever. Then for setting, I really like the setting because you can kind of feel the history of the place. It's like there's so much given about the whole Andy and Sal case, and keeps going on. And like the beginning of the book, it's immediately Pip knew where they lived. Everyone knew where they lived, and it's just giving the entire history of the case, kind of. And it's just it the setting kind of like pulls you in immediately because it's a very grounded series most of the time. Yeah, this is the part that people will have the least to say about, and obviously for yeah. And now on to part of me.
I mean, you guys said it for me, so like,
Anything? Anyone have anything to add before we move on to the second book? Oh wait, we need to give our rating for the book. All right. What do you all give the book out of 100?
9.
Out of
And
100.
rating out of 100?
100. Oh shit. Okay. 92.
92, alright.
Yeah.
Niganka?
Um, 95.
5, alright. Parthavi?
Maybe a 97.5.
Oh, that's high. And and my rating is an 89 out of 100.
89?
89.
Where did all the 11 marks go?
Sound like my parents. But yeah, 89. I think that's the best. That's a good score for this one. It's not the lowest in the series for me. 89 is still a pretty high score.
Yeah,
I,
then you can just add 1 and make it 90. Sounds better.
but no, you see, I know about your OCD, so I think I just rather not. Uh, all right, then should we move on to the second book?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll start with plot this time, I guess. Who wants to go first?
See, I don't really remember the plot. Why? Because I read it like 1 year before, and it's always that second book in the series. The first and the third one, they're quite memorable, and then it's always that second book. You just seem to like it's like a mush. Don't really remember minute details of it. You just like I did like such I was reading in the content. Yeah, the second book especially. So I mean, I know like the brief of it, but like I forgot it. Happens.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So, what's your favorite and least favorite part of the book?
Give me a while. I'll think about it. Yeah.
All right. All right. I don't know what mine is either.
My favorite part would be when Pip
I mean,
discovers
after.
who Stanley actually is. Yeah, that's a good part. And then like they have a deal or something like
Google
that.
comes to the rescue. That happens a lot in the series. I mean, like twice. Second book, she okay, wait, Child Brown sick. Oh, Child Brunswick,
Yeah, exactly.
and then the
Yeah.
third book, she just looks up like the whole stick figure without a head, dead pigeon, and then it just gives her everything about the DT killer. So I think the real
Yeah,
hero
exactly.
here is Google.
Google best.
Bow to our corporate overlords.
But then that interaction with Stanley, it was actually quite sweet.
Yeah,
It was
and
until it got
and then he
bad.
gets shot 6 times. That was fun.
Yeah. Oh right. Wait, who got
Stanley,
Stanley? Why? By who?
it's Charlie.
Its neighbors. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole okay. For plot, I'd say the whole thing with Layla and Charlie and everything. Part of me says that this is the only book in the series that she did not predict the killer for. This is the only murder mystery thing I've ever predicted the killer for.
I
I
don't
really
get it.
predicted
The
it.
first and the third book, the third book was really obvious.
Yeah, because he
In
just
the
kept coming
second
back
book,
again.
I did not see it coming in the second book.
Yeah. The second one, I kind of got it because it's like, why are they putting so much attention on the neighbors? I mean, it's not like he's the killer. He's the killer. So
I mean, I kind of saw it coming. Those
yeah.
neighbors, they seemed
Maybe it's because I forgot how Stanley looks, because like I ignored his descriptions, I guess.
I mean, the first book, his description, he was on a phone call, so they couldn't really give a physical description to him of
But
him.
like I really did not see it coming for the second book.
No, I didn't know it was Stanley. I barely gave any thought to Stanley. I just like thought, oh, they're putting a lot of attention on the neighbors. I guess it's the
yeah,
neighbors.
they seemed fishy. Yeah, the neighbors, they were. She was just mentioning too much about them. Oh my God, they're so sweet and all. There has to be something fishy.
There's a YouTuber I watch. There's like the two laws of Rick Riordan. It's like if I mean the first law is like if there's a character who seems too good to be true, either they are or they will die. So,
Yeah, Eloy Ward.
huh?
Eloy Ward. Yeah, they were mentioning a lot about him as well in the
Yeah,
first part. Like, OMG, father figure. Yada yada yada.
yeah. I didn't really guess it for that one because
Mhm.
I don't know
I didn't
why,
think
but
of
like
any actually. I always thought it was a third person doing all of it.
uh,
Someone who they haven't mentioned, and then it was never done.
that's the Sherlock Holmes. But I don't like Sherlock Holmes. But yeah,
I don't like it either. It's
yeah.
boring.
Not because it's boring, because like every single time it's the murderer is just some random guy he pulls off the street.
I mean, Agatha Christie is much better that
Yeah,
way.
so
That's it. Like, you can't,
it's-
but like the plot twist there. There's always a plot twist, and it's
yeah.
always good. You
And
just
like I like how in Agatha Christie it's more like theory than actual evidence, so you cannot really see it coming.
no, I feel like there's way too much. And at the end, when you try to like keep, yeah, there's a lot of information.
Like they keep mentioning such random facts that
And then
everyone seems suspicious.
yeah, and then you start like thinking about it, and then at the end you just give up.
No, but like if you see at the end, Hercule Poirot is just like he just comes up with many theories and it's true. It stands more than evidence.
Yeah, it does. Okay, I think we should be talking about. Oh yeah, getting back.
Yeah,
to
right, right.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Like in the Wheel of Time video, me and Ishan went on like 10 minute rant about Discworld. So it's
Anyways, where were we?
we were talking about how predictable the murderer was in this book. Yeah. So I think that's it for plot, maybe. Well, I mean, for plot, one part I really liked was when like the it came on the news that there was a dead body found, and then they were all panicking, like, "Oh no, is it Jamie? Is it Jamie?" And then at the end, it's like, "Okay, it's not Jamie," and then that's when his father finally breaks and starts getting interviewed by Pip.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That's like one scene I remember. I really like that part.
I think
Even
the one scene that I remember is I don't know why, but like the last part where Stanley is like dead, he's like buried, and then there's Pip and her family standing there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when there's like a whole lot of crowd saying that Stanley deserves to be killed,
And then
and then
she
Pip
lashes
just
out at them.
realizes that she just snaps.
Yeah,
I think I like that part, even though it's really sad. I like it.
that was a good one. Uh, so is that it for plot or any you want to? Oh, wait, you guys haven't spoken about the plot yet.
I don't really have anything to say about the plot. I can't remember that much. All I remember is like OMG, yeah, Jamie, Stanley, the neighbors, Jamie getting shot. And
Jamie,
that whole,
wait, Jamie didn't get shot.
no, not Jamie, sorry, Stanley getting
So,
shot.
I,
And then like that catfishing woman. Oh yeah, that was the
Layla.
most interesting thing about it like that.
I
The
like
whole
the catfish.
woman and then finding out the catfish is basically Jamie.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
when I first read it, like, no, how can it be? Yeah, exactly. And then like the way it's put.
so anyway, that's it for plot, I guess.
Stanley is my favorite.
Stanley was so sweet.
At first, in the first book, I was like, "Oh shit, he's a racist piece of shit,"
Yeah,
but
yeah.
and then now in this book, he just didn't, everything gets revealed about him. Why he immediately jumped on Ravi's back I mean Sal's back, and yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, he's a sweet guy. Yeah, like and our whole notion of him just changes throughout the second book. That's a cool part. And then again, like that drug dealer guy, he just needs love.
I like Charlie.
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 You like Charlie? Charlie?
Not like not as a person. No, like
Wait, who's
if
Stanley kills Stanley?
Like the guy with the
if you not as a person, but just like what he did to Pip, that was nice.
Yeah, that was.
yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
Like his interactions with it was like everything.
And then in the third book, she's like, no, Stanley would like one of her suspects is Stanley, and then she's like, you know what? No, Stanley wouldn't do that. Stanley wouldn't do anything to me. So
Isn't he dead?
no, not Stanley. Charlie. God,
No.
everyone.
Oh, yeah, the name of the drug dealer is Harvey Bowers. I.
How yeah.
Oh, how? Oh, yeah.
Charlie
But
was
you don't think that Charlie was like taking advantage of Pip?
I
yeah.
mean, he could have.
He could
Yeah,
have-
he was. He definitely
He
was.
was, but I didn't like him as a person, but as a character, right? He was. I mean, in the third book, that was resolved really quickly. Like everything, he just it's like she just gets a call from the police guy, and he's like, "Hey, we arrested Charlie," and she's like, oh no." So that's like the only like main like character that you could really talk about. This one, I guess, like Stanley, Charlie. Who else? Because like all the other characters. Oh, Anton,
Jamie.
Lauren, Jamie, yeah, but like there's not really
And
much
then
about him.
Connor's like, family, how,
Yeah.
how they were like worried about him.
Hmm.
And Jamie's mother, she was really nice.
I don't remember anything about his mother.
No, she was like worried that. Like, yeah, she was worried, and she was also like cooperating with them and stuff.
Oh,
So yeah,
why do I need to know all these?
it happens. I read a Google summary before. Yeah.
Should have done that.
Then Okay, that's kind of all we have for characters, I guess. So should we get into like plot, tone, atmosphere, or does anyone want to add anything out of? No. All right. So plot, I mean tone, atmosphere, and setting. Setting, I think we already spoke about in the previous book, so I don't. It's the same. It's relatively the same. So I think we should just stay with that. Oh wait, one last thing for characters. Hawkins, the police guy, he was.
Oh yeah, he was terrible.
Yeah,
I did not like him. He was not really. He wasn't cooperative. He was not.
sounds very
It
cautious.
gets worse in the third book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much worse than the third. It's much worse. Like, oh my god. Shut up.
Honestly, she just give his title to Pip. She does a better job.
He does. He does.
I remember in the third book, she just goes to him and like for like an interview after she kills Jason, and every 5 seconds she's just like, yeah, this police policing can't get anything done without me. I have to come in and save the day every single time," and that was fun.
And also, she thought that he knew, right, that she had done it. No, I feel like
She thought,
he
yeah,
was like,
that part. I okay, wait, maybe we should save that talk for the third book because like
wait, he did. He did like guessed. He guessed. I feel like he was working with that guy. What's his name? The father. With Jason. I don't know. That's a bit far fetched. Maybe he's just smart.
no,
I think they were friends or something. No.
no, they were friends, but I don't think he knew. I mean, I don't think he was an accomplice to anything. He was just kind of stupid.
He was very stupid.
He was just like, I mean, like she's come to you when she's like been right each time, and you've denied her each time. Maybe like the third time, you should maybe just like believe her a little bit,
Maybe he's like more lazy than really
maybe.
stupid. He's actually quite smart because if he guessed it at the end of the third book,
Yeah.
that means he has something there.
The one time he actually got something right was when we didn't. The audience did not want him to get something right, so that's kind of
Yeah.
like wait. There's one scene with Ravi in the third book after that we'll talk about, and I really like that scene. If it was a bit rushed, maybe. Like Ravi goes and is like, "Oh, those were my headphones. It's not her. I mean,
Oh yeah,
like I borrowed it from her."
that was
Which
nice.
scene?
Uh, in the third book, like after Hawkins is like, "Oh yeah, yeah, Pip, we found those headphones in Jason's house," and then Ravi goes there and he's like, "Actually, I borrowed those headphones from her," and
Oh,
yeah, that was a really nice scene. So, tone. This one was also a bit like each book gets progressively a bit darker than the previous one. Yeah. One thing I really liked was all the stuff with Max. Like constantly, like the whole Max case was developing and everything. And then at the middle of the book, she just had like a big argument with Nat, and then she got the news from Ravi after the court case, and she was like, "Oh shit." Nat shouldn't be alone for this. So then she rushes back to her house and she rings the doorbell and then she opens it and she's like, "What?" And then she's like, Max has been ruled innocent, and then they're just really sad. So that was that I really like that part. It had a lot of emotional weight to it because Max is, for lack of a better term, an absolute. I think
Piece
part
of
of I
shit.
think Parthavi put it well.
Piece of shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, Max. We'll get to Max more about Max in the third book. That I like what happened to him in the third book because maybe it's the only time I'll ever be happy that someone was framed for murder.
yes.
Yes. But okay, so Dawn, what do you guys have to say about Dawn?
I feel like it's like that typical summer party, lovely, and then it's like those typical crime, books, movies, whatever. It just has that kind of jolly feeling in the beginning, and then but then there's something wrong. There's something wrong. You just can't put it. It just later starts developing.
I think with this book in particular, there's a bit more of a rush, like because in the first book, it's like they died 5 years ago. You have no timer here, but like with this book, it's like we don't know if he's dead or not. We need to find him before he dies, maybe, and like maybe he's already dead. It's just like some kind of it's the fear of not knowing whether he's dead or not that kind of made it a bit more
Yeah.
dramatic than the first book.
That's been setting throughout the book because I think at the very beginning, almost into like the first or second chapter itself, he disappeared and Jane after her and stuff.
Yeah.
Not Jane, Connor.
So what's your overall rating of the book?
7. I give it 80 out of, oh yeah, 70.
70. I gave it an 87 out of 100. Part me,
Oh,
I would give it a 90.
90. I thought you said this was your favorite. You gave it less than
No,
the.
the third book's my favorite.
I remember talking to you with Anya, and then you were like, "Oh, the second book's my favorite."
No, the third one. I
Oh,
couldn't guess what's going to happen in the second book, but the third one's my favorite.
huh. All right. Well, I guess we should just move on to the last book.
Yes, the last book, the last book.
Yes, and I think everyone
The last
agrees.
book is the best.
Yeah, definitely. Mirigami.
also, there is slight update. My fellow companion has had to go home.
So
Oh,
sad. So,
It's just gonna be me.
so basically, last book. What was your favorite and least favorite part?
my. Can I start?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah. No, this is like the first time you're starting, so do it. Go.
no, because I've been waiting for the last book. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's. That's the general consensus.
Okay, so the part where Pip calls Ravi and like they both starts like making up things to frame Max. Like I think that was amazing because Pip was just being so smart.
Yeah,
And like even though Ravi was like literally panicking, he just went along with the plan. I think the things Pip did, like using the car as like
a
for
fridge.
heating the body and then cooling it down, that was really nice. And the way she escaped from what was his name, Jason.
Yeah,
So like basically the last part where Pip and Ravi, like team up to like hide the body and frame it on Max.
yeah.
That part was amazing.
At first I thought Ravi would be a bit more opposed to it, like, oh my god, Pip, you killed a dude. But honestly, it makes sense for his character that he would just go along with it, but still be kind of scared. Yeah,
Like he was just making jokes all along.
yeah. I think this is the best book for Ravi, and
Yeah.
It is.
yeah. But you didn't say your least favorite part.
Oh, my least favorite. Wait, let me recall.
And then until then, we'll do Nagakas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my most favorite part would be how they, yeah, partly mentioned the ending of the book, how they really carry out um, postponing the time of death of Jason, and also how she just casually tries to go out with Naomi and Kira to McDonald's, and just try to act cool and stuff. That whole ending part where they really cover up for themselves, I found that really interesting.
Oh,
And
even the part when Claire and
that.
Naomi team up. That's also nice.
Yeah, and I think least favorite it would be in the starting of the book. I don't think there's a really interesting. There's anything interesting going on. It's basically about her, how she was so traumatized, how she was taking drugs to cope with it and stuff. I found that a little bit boring.
I'm hard. That was my favorite.
Well, you touching on dead people,
Huh? No, I just like all the trauma.
like
I found it like intriguing. It was just like,
I found it a little boring. Like especially the part where she was researching about dead people and how their body looks and stuff. I mean, it
oh,
did help her in the end, but
that part I felt like it just came out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, what's that? But like it was just kind of like I feel like she wrote that scene and she's like, wait, it just feels like it came out of nowhere. I'm gonna put an article earlier in the book for it. It's just like,
yeah.
yeah. So
I mean, it really helped in the end, but in that part, in the starting, it was really good.
my least favorite part is like the pacing of the ending. Uh, Basically because it's just like, on it's like, okay, Ravi, I'll never see you again. Maybe, bye, bye, and then they go, and then it's like 6 months later, Ravi's not here. I'm so sad. 1 year later, after Max's trial, hello, hi. That's
No, that ending is not good. I do not approve. You do not make it so suspenseful and so not suspenseful.
Yeah.
I would have liked the ending more if there was a little bit more build up to it.
Yeah, maybe like not the dot dot dot. At least the next message. That's it.
No, I like that, but I like that. I think that's a really creative way to do it. I was happy with that. But if there was a little bit more build up, like before it just showed like a couple of developments in the case, maybe one point where she thought Max was gonna be held, was gonna be taken as innocent or something, and then like eventually it slowly builds up, like maybe like even an extra like 10 pages or something would have
Yeah,
helped the ending a bit out more. But eventually at the end, I feel kind of satisfied. It's not the best ending, but it's a good ending nonetheless, I think.
it's really good.
I mean, at one point I thought she was gonna get caught. I'm like, oh no, is she gonna get caught because the headphones thing? But like now it's like, yeah, she's not gonna get caught. I feel like I should have seen that coming, but yeah. So should we get into plot?
Can I add my one
Least
least
favorite?
favorite?
All right, yeah.
Yeah. Like for me, I think the ending was a bit. I think Pip
Rushed.
started making really like fast decisions towards the end. Like what she did with Ravi, that was like really rushed. And
Yeah,
also, I love the part in the starting where Pip's just so traumatized. She doesn't care what people say or think, and she just like does anything she wants, like swears in the meetings and just. I don't know. I love that part.
yeah. Mac. I mean, especially when she's swearing at Max. That's the
Yeah,
best
that was
part.
amazing. That was so much.
Well,
It was.
Just like, it's like okay, Pip, be civil. It's a law meeting. It could decide your entire future. Okay, hey Max, you and so should we get into plot?
Yep.
All right. So okay, we'll start with Priyanka maybe.
yeah, the plot overall is again really good. It's the best according to me out of all the books. And what makes it the last 100, 200 pages of the plot, it's amazing. It's, I mean, it also shows how much knowledge Holly Jackson had to like write all of that down, to like think of such a way to cover up a murder. She's really cool that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, the plot. Um, yeah, what else? Yeah, that's all I have to say.
All right. Parthavi.
For me, see, when Pip was locked up in Jason's factory, like I knew that she would escape because, like, yeah, she's the main character. But like, I did not like see it coming that she would frame Max for it. Like, I had a feeling she would murder Jason, like maybe just lightly knock him off or something, but did not expect that she would actually murder him and frame Max for it. That like, yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that I didn't know that she was gonna murder it, but as soon as she was like, okay, somebody had to have killed Jason Bell, and that someone wasn't me, and I'm like, okay, wait, everyone else is a nice person, so she wouldn't. Oh, Max. So that it was like the last page. I'm like, oh, who is it? Oh, it's Max. So like I didn't think that would happen before, but like as soon as she said it, I'm like, oh, it's probably gonna be Max.
But
Yeah,
I think framing Max for the murder thing, that was just so I don't know, it was so nice.
That was
I
genius.
was so glad while reading it. Like when Max was going to the police station, I was like, yes.
we here at Professional Bookworm support framing people for murder.
Yes.
Yes. I think this book, especially along with the other two books, is just really well done. Specifically, like each book slowly just builds up to this, and this is like the header, the climax of the whole thing. Like it really plays well into the themes of the other two books because throughout the whole series, Pip is taking justice into her own hands, and other people are taking justice into their own hands. The first book, the whole book is just her. Like she thinks the police are wrong. She thinks Sal didn't kill Andy, but and then she goes and she proves them wrong again. Then in the second book, the police aren't going to do anything about Jamie being missing. And then the entire ending, the whole murder motive is just because someone is disappointed in the justice system and takes everything into their own hands. And throughout the whole book, everything with Max is going on. And Pips is, and throughout the whole series, Pip is just slowly losing faith in the law, kind of, yeah. Um, everything just comes to a climax at the end where she kills a dude. that
I mean, it was self-defense. You know, you could
It
do all
was self defense, but every single uh, see she's built it up really well because every single decision Pip took up until this book makes it so that for her character it makes sense that she would do that.
yeah,
Yeah, her entire thought process, and like everything with Charlie too. Charlie was similar. He thought that the law was wrong and he just killed the dude for that. And over the book we can see Pip kind of sympathizing with Charlie too because like his sister was murdered and it was someone's fault and he didn't want to leave that alone. He wasn't just gonna let that slide. So and then he spends but he devotes his entire life to it, and he gets pulled in. And it's kind of like a Charlie works because he's like a dark mirror to Pip, kind of. Pip can empathize with him because even in the beginning of the book she's like, oh, what if Josh died? What if, would I do the same thing? Can I really hate Charlie for what he did? And she finds that she would do the same thing. And
Yeah.
as the book goes on, she goes to Hawkins. Hawkins is stupid, and he's like, haha, you're wrong. You're not being stalked, you're just paranoid. And like in Pip's head, you can see why he would think she was paranoid, but I mean, we know she's probably right and everything. And then finally she just kills two birds with one stone. Well, she kills one bird with a hammer, but we'll not talk about that. She just sneaks up. Yeah, yeah,
You know, it's like I like how in the first book there's like um, a clear line between what's good and what's bad, and then the second and third book it's just like gray. You know, it depends on the person's view, like which is good and which is bad. So like the third book is just it's just gray.
It is.
yeah.
After that, you start thinking everyone was right in their own way. So you can't really call anyone a villain except Max, obviously.
Obviously.
And Jason, kind of, yeah.
And I listen.
I mean,
Like,
he
let's not mention Charlie. If you look at from Charlie's point of view, maybe you feel like what Charlie did was right, but when you see it from
Stanley's,
Stanley's
yeah,
point of view, it's just
Yeah,
not right.
at least Charlie can have some. You can vouch for Charlie from his point of view. For Max, there's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing for
There's
Max.
literally
no, he's just a creep.
nothing.
He, like, Parthavi said, yeah, it's. I don't know if it's like completely black and white in the first book either, because I mean, first of all, like the whole motive for Becca was kind of gray, and like Andy, she's a schoolgirl. You think she's innocent, and then as the book goes on, she seems like a more worse and worse person. I mean, in the third book, you know everything. You find out everything she was doing. She was doing for her sister because her father was yeah, and,
Exactly.
yeah, and yeah, and then the second book it gets even more gray. The third book I think might be like the grayness doesn't really come from the antagonist. It comes from Pip. Like she kills a dude. That's where the grayness really comes from. At the beginning of the book, she's like, "Okay, my first two cases were very gray. Just let this be black and white, please, please, please." And the case was black and white. It's just what she did that wasn't.
Yeah.
When I got to that part of the book, I thought she would like struggle a bit more with what she did. She's like, "I man, I killed a man." She's like, "Well, I killed a man. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for it. I'm not like." I thought she would be like, "Oh no, I killed a man. What have I done?" It's more like, "I killed a man. Oh no, I could get caught." So, but that really makes sense for her character.
It does, but like you know, from that side, you actually see, like she killed him because she knew that if she went and actually told what happened, no one would believe
Yeah,
her.
I've
Because like the
seen that
past
before.
few
Yeah.
years, no one believed her.
Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Basically, throughout the whole series, it's just people not believing her, even though she's been right every time. And
Yeah.
the one time, and again, once the one time Hawkins finds out the truth, it's completely wrong. Yeah,
Well, actually, Hawkins did not find out the truth.
no,
Pip
she,
actually made him find the
yeah,
truth.
yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
no, the truth that like, oh no, he actually had a suspicion that Pip killed Jason. So like, uh,
No, but like it's not clear that Hawkins suspected Pip because like it's not really mentioned. Because like he was just it was like one line, you know. Can't really tell that he was suspecting.
yeah,
I mean, that's what she thought, though. She thought that he knew.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Pip not, but like from the third person's view, I don't think he was suspecting Pip.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. That's a bit of a point of contention because did he suspect Pip? Did he not suspect Pip? It's all up to your own interpretation, I guess. I'll leave it at that. So should we get into characters?
Didn't we just do
We
characters?
were doing plot.
Oh,
We were there's a lot in plot. Yeah.
We got into characters as well, like without.
yeah.
This time should we talk about like Ravi because the first thing we were talking about like Pip and Jason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we talked a lot about Pip.
So Ravi, okay, Meganga, you can start.
Okay, yeah, Ravi, according to me, as we talked about before, he is the most likable character. throughout the whole book. His character is very well written, and just in general, his personality, how he is so bubbly, how he cracks so small jokes, how he is so such a perfect friend slash boyfriend to Pip. It's all so well put together. Especially, it's like seen in the third book where in a situation where she has literally murdered a person, even though he is very scared, he still supports her. He still supports her through all that. He even plays along. So yeah, he is really, I feel, the best character in the book.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Especially like that. Again, we already spoke about that scene, but like with the headphones and everything,
Yeah,
would have thought that a single set of headphones could just screw you up that much. But like, yeah, that was chill of Ravi. I like that. In this book, yeah, and like she can't tell her parents, she can't tell her younger brother, she can't tell anyone, but she confides in Ravi, and that really speaks to how much of a connection they have by the third book.
yeah.
Parthavi, do you have any opinions on that?
Kavi is amazing. Okay, he's so kind. Like he goes along with everything Pip says. Like even like hiding the body. Like would you go along with it if it was some of your I don't know. Anyway, wait. Let me frame my sentence. Oh God. Basically, he just has an amazing personality. He's funny, and then he's just amazing. I
Loyal,
can't
loyal.
find
That
the
works,
words in that.
huh?
I can't find the words. Like they're in my brain, but they're not coming out of my mouth.
Well, I mean, he is loyal. That's part like his whole character. He's like you could say a golden retriever.
Yeah, but I would say that he's very light cause like in the part where Pip just breaks up with him, I just feel so sad for him.
And like Pip's just like, I don't want you to get implicated in the murder. And well, I mean, there's a chance that he could be anyway. So
But again, if you see it from Pip's point of view, she is right. You see it from his point.
He's very genuine though.
he's honest. So that's like one character in the series who's honest. So what do you think about Pip's drug use?
Uh,
Ah,
when I read it in the starting, I was very concerned for her because
I was too.
yeah, I was really hoping she would stop
Does
because
she
yeah,
stop in the end though?
did
Right?
she?
It was left kind of ambiguous because she went. Oh,
Hmm.
well, I mean, when she went to Luke at the end of the book, it wasn't for her. It was for Max. And like drugs are good if you use it to frame Max. So
Oh right, I don't think she uses it anymore because she used all of those things to spike Max's drink.
I mean that doesn't mean she doesn't use it. It just means that like she used it once for Max and she might because I don't think it'll maybe like over the years she'll get rid of it, but I don't think she can get rid of it that easily. It's not that
Yeah.
realistic. Yeah. So it'll probably take some time for her to get rid of it, but I mean it'll probably be done soon. She'll have gotten rid of it by then. Any other guy? Want to talk about Jason?
Um,
Okay, Parthavi, I think this is your favorite book because a guy named Jason gets beaten to death with a hammer. So
what
yeah,
can I say? He's a
except
piece of shit.
oh, and I remember you look at the first again. That's also foreshadowing in the first book. Like, his whole thing about how no, like women should listen to him or something, and that's already that's like kind of mentioned in the first book where he like people where like she interviews Andy's friends and they're like, oh man, he seems kind of weird around them, and it's like Andy never listens or something, and that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And so like yeah, that's weird. And then in the third book, I was like, oh, that's why. So yeah, Nikanka?
About Jason, he well yeah, there's always these kind of people who cannot really account for. Like Jason is one of them. He is just a psychopath.
Yes,
Like
he
you cannot really vouch for him in any way. He is what a villain is. He is a psychopath. He was bad, especially to his children, which is no, it's a no. And yeah, I am glad that he did what she did.
It's amazing. We all agree, don't we?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. So then, should we get into tone, atmosphere, and setting?
Obvious, that's pretty dark in the last book.
Yeah, this is the heaviest book out of all three.
Especially the starting, like she's just traumatized after the whole
Yeah,
starting.
the starting's just full of a drama.
It is.
Yeah, it's like the way she writes that trauma, it felt very real to me. Like every time she said something about like the guns shot in her and the gun in her and stuff like that, and the blood filling her hands. That was kind of like visceral.
Honestly, what happened? Like, who did what to Holly Jackson that she starts writing all these?
No,
Uh,
honestly, even her book Five Survive, you can like see that she knows what she's doing. She's very good at this genre.
Oh, God. Wait, did you read the last book? I mean, the Five
Rachel,
Survive?
oh,
I did. It's excellent. According to me, it's better than the disappearance of Rachel Weisz.
Oh,
thought it
It
was
is. It's quite
reappearance.
different.
but it's not connected to this book, right?
No, it's not connected.
It's like a whole different world.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a really cool concept. The whole story it takes place in one night. That's the concept.
oh,
Maybe I'll read it. I don't know. Um, so okay, the setting for this book also. Okay, wait. We should talk about Max before we move on.
The thing about Max is he again, like Jason Bell, there's nothing to vouch for. He absolutely sucks. He's a psychopath. He has done the worst thing you can possibly do to people, and he deserves everything that has happened to him. Though obviously he does not deserve the being innocent part. I am glad the court finally convicted him. I am glad that Pip went up to his house and spray painted whatever she did.
that was an amazing scene.
I am glad that everyone who has read the series hates him and no one's doing anything apart from that.
But
But
uh,
yeah, in overall rating, the series is excellent. I would give it a 95 out of 100 overall
this book
because
or the whole series?
the whole series. Because even the way how the stories are so connected, the first, second, and third book, and even the stories in itself, I think it is one of the best, like the second best series I have ever read, or even the first. You know, can't compare.
Yeah. For this book, I would give it a 95 out of 100. Then, if you take all of them, I'd give the series about a 93 out of 100 as a whole. 93. So, this is definitely the best one. We'll move on to the ranking of the series. What we would, I mean, Rikanka, since you have to leave first, what's your ranking of the series?
Ranking as in
3 to 1.
oh 3 to 1, like what?
Like, what's your favorite or least favorite?
Oh, okay. So I think if you look at the three books, my first favorite is obviously As Good Instead,
Yeah.
mainly because of the ending part. The starting was slightly depressing. The second, in second position, I would put the first book because yeah, it was the first book I had read of that type, and I really liked how Holly Jackson put in those podcast recordings, those interview recordings. They really made the book more fun to read.
Yes.
And in the last place, though certainly it's not in the last place because it's bad or anything, even the second book,
It's the least best.
it's the least best, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the last place, I would put Good Girl Bad Blood, the second book, which is also awesome, but it's just that the other two books are way more awesome.
Yeah, I think my ranking is largely the same, 3 to 1. The As Good as Dead is definitely the best one, just because it has like the most emotional investment that you put in it. Because I mean, from the beginning, you already know what's happened in the second book, and it's eventually, as Pip says, it all comes for full circle in that book. Second is the first one. I just really like that book and what happened in it, and last is As Good Girl Bad Blood. uh, it reminds me of Taylor Swift, but that, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. All right, Parthavi.
for me, from first ranking, there's the third book, As Good as Dead. Second, I'll put the first book, and the third is the second book. Like it's not
We
bad, but
also
it's
do
the
have
least bit.
the same ranking.
No,
Yeah,
no, mine was. Wait, did you guys say the same ranking?
3-1-2. Yeah, it's the same.
No,
Yeah.
mine is.
Yeah,
Oh, it's 3-1-2 for
yeah.
me.
That's it. That's it.
Oh,
Uh, Thanks for watching. We will smell you later. Right,
Yes.
Miganka and your friend. Thanks for coming on to the show. And
you're
hope
welcome. You're welcome for coming.
Oh,
I was gonna get to you, but
Oh,
Ha
but
ha ha.
shut
Aravi.
yeah,
up.
me and my friend really enjoyed it. Thank you for inviting
Yeah.
us.
Thank you, Miganka.
Hopefully you can come back to the show sometime. But I don't know if you've read anything else that we've read. Whatever. Maybe it may
We'll
run.
see, we'll see. But
Maybe
yeah,
if
I
I
was
did Maze
happy to
Runner or
record
something.
this
Yeah, yeah.
this video.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a really fun episode because of all the guests, and I mean, I'd have dragged it down a little bit, but that's all right. So yeah,
Wow. I was just kind of there.
all
I
right.
had you guys on mute, so I didn't hear anything. I heard like a bit, some bits.
We're like talking behind your back the whole
Oh,
time.
this was
Oh
not a
my
good. This
god.
was not a good girls guide to murder review. This was just an out of hate video the whole
Yeah.
time. We
Oh
were just
yes.
Max
All
sucks.
right.
Well,
I will sign off for now, guys.
All
Thank you
right.
so much
See
for
you.
inviting me.
bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Smell you later.
Bye 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 bye.
Shut up, Arif.
Oh,
I finished my lab manual.
All right. Thanks for joining, Parthavi.
yeah, you're welcome.
Hopefully you can come back on if we ever do like another book you've read. I don't know what you've read, but yeah.
I will try reading Miss Bond's part
Famous
Yes.
5. Oh yeah,
Yes.
Miss Bond. Oh my god.
I'm not reading Famous Five. I don't care, man. I read the first book. I didn't like it, so.
I mean, it makes sense because like I read it when I was 8. So
Oh,
like I
okay.
think if I read it again right now, I wouldn't like it either.
Yeah, then don't read it again. Just let it keep stay at your top number one.
Yeah, let it just stay there. I don't want to ruin my childhood memories.
Yeah. All right. So
Miraculous is top tier, even if it's a
shut up,
childhood.
Arif.
Shut up.
Yeah. God. Uh, ooh, I'm a ladybug and it's a cat, and like
It's
we're
it's
both so hot. Oh
it's
my god, we
great.
love each other. All right, this is like the longest sign off we've ever done, so we will stop it here. Thanks for
Yeah,
watching,
we will stop
everyone.
it here.
All
Bye.
all five of you who watched, thank you for watching. We will smell you
Um,
later.